Hey, we made it. We made it. Cool.
We always do.
We do. Almost all the time.
Usually.
A 99.8% rate for success rate.
That's all you can hope for.
You know what? That's good enough for me.
That's like a cosmic guarantee, bro.
Exactly. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 392, your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm Rett.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Spotify or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk tech, we talk beer, we talk games. I lost my train of thought there. We talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, sometimes some Star Trek. All super chats are ran on the air so long as they will not permanently demonetize the channel. We do drink alcohol on the show, and if you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat, and we'll give some early show shoutouts as we go along. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to my Discord server, where you can chat with myself, John, Rett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out over there.
Well said.
I try.
392 of those bad boys.
Yeah, wasn't my best, but, wasn't my worst either. So I'll take it.
It's like a 99.98 guarantee.
That's right. It's nice to give yourself a 0.2% buffer every once in a while,
You need it. You need it.
I deserve it.
Give yourself only the best, Jeff.
Oh, it's going to be a good show. I didn't intend for it to be, but this show is almost entirely AI. Not AI generated, but we're talking AI. More specifically, we're talking about, something I've been struggling with for the last year plus, and it's kind of starting to come to a head. A lot of people are starting to realize, what the hell is AI even for? What is it good for? What's the use case? What's the benefit? Turns out a lot of people are asking those same questions and just as confused. And I'm not going to answer that question. I'm simply going to restate, what the heck is it good for? Can someone in the industry tell me what AI can actually do for me today, right now, to enhance my workflow? Right now. Because if you don't have that answer, I'm not buying an AI PC. We'll get into all that. We'll get into all of that. We'll get into the good, the bad, the even worse, and the downright scary. The next generation Xbox may feature a 10-core AMD Zen 6 chip, if a leaked CPU die shot is to be believed. We've got some N64 not emulation news. That should be fun. And we'll see what else pops up through the weeds as we go along. But what do you say we get this party started? Rhett, what do you got queued up for drinking tonight?
All right. Well, I'm doing something a little different tonight. Not super different, but one of people listening might know that I do this other thing, this Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and part of that, it's not Dungeons and Dragons anymore though, it's a Daggerheart podcast, I hate to say, but part of that is that we draw from a goodie bag that's stocked by players and fans alike every time a critical success or failure is rolled. And I rolled the first crit success of our new campaign, and I pulled out this little bottle of what I'm assuming is whiskey here. It's called Shanky's Whip, Black Irish Smooth or something. I can't read what it says, but
yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe my face is... There we go. Block my face.
Yeah, block the face.
Come
on, Sony. You can do it.
There we go. Oh, well, it's not going to go for it. But anyway, it says, Shanky's Whip, made in Ireland, black, smooth, Irish, spirits distilled from whey, with natural flavors and caramel color. And so, I don't know, I just won this sweet little bag of liquor here, or bottle of liquor, and I figured I'd give it a go on air and pimp my podcast at the same time. So you can go to theinattheend.com, or now probably daggerheartpodcast.com. Definitely still dndpodcast.org. So
Nice. Yeah, way to get that that little shill in there.
yeah,
I'm
well,
I'm
I
proud
had
of
it
you.
sitting here. Thank you. I had it sitting here all week, and we were supposed to play tomorrow, and I was going to drink it tomorrow, but I just heard that we had to cancel, so I was like, screw it. So
Yeah.
it smells sweet. I think this is more of like a liqueur.
Yeah,
I'm
the way you
guessing.
were describing it and the ingredients, so it's a distilled whey liquor with caramel color added. So likely there's not a lot of barrel there. Likely they added the caramel color so it looks kind of like whiskey,
Yeah,
and probably back sweetened it a little bit, make it more of a liqueur. But nothing wrong with that. So
yeah. It's produced in Baileyborough, Ireland. Try on the rocks or as an ice cold shot, which I didn't do. I'm drinking at room temperature. And it's good. It's really sweet though. It kind of tastes like Kahlua or something like that. So oh
okay,
well.
like mouthfeel like Kahlua. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So mm,
Very cool.
we'll see if I can do a whole little glass of this. It's really sweet.
Well, I'm going with two very different beers tonight. I've got an old standby favorite from 21st Amendment Brewery down in San Leandro, California, clocking in at, gosh, what is this even? 7%. Yeah, there we go. 7%. It is their Blood Orange IPA. This is absolutely fantastic, and I always love the 21st Amendment can art. You got
That looks dope.
evil Lincoln coming out of the Mount Rushmore.
There you go. Yeah.
It's squeezing an orange in his hand. Like, it's great. Yeah, Blood Orange IPA, 21st Amendment Brewery.
It looks like the Abe Lincoln
Whoa!
god that they pray to in Adventure Time, you know?
That
He
was
lives
a
on
hot
Mars.
pour. Okay.
What, you already bubbling?
I need to go get a rag. It spilled up over the top.
Mm.
There's a puddle about this big on my desk right now. Do I have a rag handy? Hold on. Hold on.
While he's cleaning that up, I'll tell you
Take
guys
over
right
for about
now.
10
So
seconds.
this
Wait, hold on.
Shanky's,
I got it.
well, if he would let me, this Shanky's Whip thing here, it actually, I'm wondering because the person who added it to our gift bag, has a taste for these like peanut butter whiskeys, and I'm like, as I'm getting through it, I'm kind of like, oh, is this one of those like peanut butter liqueurs or whiskeys or something again? The first taste, I was like, oh, that's sweet, like Kahlua or something like that. But it might be like a peanut butter flavored liqueur or something. So there you go. Did you save your desk?
I did.
That's good.
I was surprised we weren't into hot skooma talk by now.
I was building it up. I was getting there.
I mean, I gave you the floor for what seemed like an eternity there.
You know, for everyone watching at home, I picked up. I got a collection of comics and graphic novels and stuff on my shelf I haven't looked at in years, and I pulled off Frank Miller's Ronin the other day, and I opened it up and I was reading it, and I thought this is pretty neat. But the demon that he's like battling against, I can't remember its name, but it looks surprisingly like Dagoth Ur. Anybody who's interested in that, go look at the graphic novel Ronin by Frank Miller, and the demon that he's fighting against looks like Dagoth Ur. Look up Dagoth Ur, look up this demon guy from Ronin. Tell me what you think.
All right. Let's see. Nernex says at this stage, AI is nothing more than a toy. Let's see. I did see a comment. Who said it? Justin says, I use it nearly every day in DevOps, company and Python apps. And that wasn't the one that I saw, but thank you, Justin. Speaking of AI, someone was using it in DevOps to double check code and check their assumptions on how the code was going to work. And I think there's There's definitely some use cases out there as AI is being developed, if you can even call it AI at this point, because it's definitely not general intelligence. It's a copy paste algorithm with a little bit of logic behind it. But
can I jump in and say real quick too that I think that like watching how everything has unfolded and watching how specifically with like OpenAI, how it's kind of been like one money grubbing grift after the next.
mm-hmm.
That I really think that just calling it AI was like an intentional like obfuscation
Yes.
of what was going on because like now you can't even have like a good faith conversation with somebody who really knows what AI is without them like, well, I'm not talking about LLMs, right? I'm talking about deep learning. I'm talking about I'm talking about those machine learning algorithms that we were using to identify blah 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, no shit, that's valuable, right? Like identifying like the next antibiotic or identifying whatever is great. But we're talking about large language models because every person and their mom and online is calling it that AI.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just have to say, the further we get along, the more intentional I think that is to like muddy the waters and so you can't separate them as much when you're having a conversation.
Certainly. If you look at successful use cases of AI before, we can look at digital assistants. We can look at Siri and Alexa and Google and their implementations of what they were marketing as an artificial intelligence assistant. With a lot of the same features, just not nearly as deep of logic or understanding as they have now. Those were not marketed necessarily as AI. They were marketed as augmentations to help you get work done or keep track of your calendar or make quick notes or remind you to do something, or it was shorthand for things you would do with your phone. And in a lot of ways, definitely an enhancement. I used Siri all the time back when I had an iPhone for doing things like, hey, add this to my calendar real quick. I don't have to open my calendar app and type something in. Like I can just say, hey, next Thursday I have a doctor's appointment at 3 p.m. Remind me an hour before. And it would do it. And and so, yeah, there's use cases for stuff like that. The problem is the AI that's being touted right now is write me an essay, draw me a picture, do the creative thing so I don't have to. And no offense to higher ups and C-suite levels and whatnot, the people who are in creative fields kind of like being creative.
Yeah. I say that all the time. Like, and you've seen, everybody's seen a variation of the meme where it's like, I thought AI would help me do my dishes and wash my clothes and clean my house so that I had more time to write, paint, and sing songs. Mm-hmm. And now AI is writing and painting and singing all of my songs, and I still have to do my dishes and fold my clothes and file my taxes. And it's like, that's probably the biggest offense that I've taken with this. And you look, it's like anybody who's been watching 392 episodes of this knows like how I think invested I am in my creative life. And so to see people like flood the marketplace with AI generated books and AI generated images and AI generated songs, it's just like, it's so boring, and I wish I could be surprised. And I don't know, it's like, it's just so like, I don't know, sad, I guess, but that's what people continue to push it for, or at least these like, marketing people and all of these people who are devoid of any imagination whatsoever. I mean, I like solving my own problems for the most part.
Yeah.
And I work for myself, and there's just like nothing that I would trust AI to do for me that I'm going to give to a person and then expect to be paid for it. And yet that seems to be the general consensus is like, oh, well, I did all this, like front loaded all this work and now I just want to like get paid for it. So I'm gonna, hey, write me this essay, write me this report. It's just bonkers. Like even people in my own industry, I see them do this all the time, and I'm just like, the part that you're talking about automating is like one of the best parts about this job.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I
the
could
only
be
enjoyable part of it.
right.
If you
It's
could
I think about
automate
this all
the
the time.
logistics of the job, if you could automate the data entry of this job, yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Let's throw AI at that and let's do that all day long. Don't automate the coming up with a unique story.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, it just blows my mind. And then especially when there's like other people's lives, or their livelihoods or their well-being at stake, and they're like, let's offsource the decision making about this to AI. It's like, bro, I don't know. I just like
yeah. Moving right into one of the headline stories is Intel supposedly knows what's stopping AI adoption, and it's not the hardware, because why would the hardware be a problem for a hardware company? Intel knows what's stopping AI PC adoption, and it's not the hardware. This is a... Oops, hold on.
what is it, Intel? Come on, tell me.
No, I have last week's slide up, so I have a Craft Computing logo where you're at. So let me video. There we go. All right, we figured it out. Cool. Yay, we did it.
I'm not a logo.
This is what happens when I don't have a producer in-house. Anyway, this is a Windows Central article. And Intel apparently conducted a survey of global businesses about their AI transition plans. So right off the bat, it wasn't like an open, like, hey, are you guys thinking about deploying AI PCs? It was strictly a marketing, hey, how are you guys going to deploy AI PCs in the next 12 months? Like, bias from the very start of the question, and we haven't even gotten into the meat of this yet. Commissioned by Intel showed that 87% of global businesses are transitioning to AI PCs or plan to transition in the future by asking them, what's your transition plan? The interesting notes are right here. What's holding AI PCs back? There's an education gap.
No.
According to Intel, only 35% of employees have a concrete understanding of the business value of AI.
Well, and of course, because it's been intentionally obfuscated. Oh, this is AI. Well, yeah, we've been hearing about the value of AI and deep learning and machine learning and all this stuff for 10 years. So
I can ask 100 people in this industry. In fact, that might be a fun video. What is a concrete benefit to AI that you can use in this industry right now? And I guarantee you, I'm not going to give 35% back with a solid concrete answer. I'm going to get hypotheticals, and in the next 2 years, we might see this implemented, or today.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I don't know. I was going to say, like, the only thing I've ever heard anyone using AI for that was like remotely, I was like, oh, that's a really good use for it. But then again, I'm like wondering, like, did it need AI to do it? Was like that one time you lost a video shoot, or you lost a video or something, and so you use the Adobe one to print out a transcript to then be able to go back and redo.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's great.
a lot of my videos are 100% scripted. I script nearly every word, and that's simply to keep me on track and focused. Because if you watch this show, you know I sidetrack a lot. But we had a video that Rett and I shot off the cuff, no script or anything like that, and I think my mic had died. or all
Or it's
we
like
got.
your camera died, but your mic worked, or something like
It was
that.
the inverse. It was like I had like a pack or a lapel or something like that, or the overhead didn't get plugged in, or it was some weird thing like that where all we got was scratch audio recorded out of the camera sitting 8 feet away, and enough that you could hear what was being said, but not a prayer of being saved by any amount of audio engineering.
Yeah.
And so I went, those were really good takes. I'm probably not going to be able to genuinely get those takes again. How can we do this? And so I plugged the video into Adobe and used the transcribe feature to literally get a word for word transcription out so I could then recite what I had said in the video and reshoot it. And match energy and things like that, because that's something that's really difficult to do with off the cuff stuff. If you're reading a script, you can prep yourself for, okay, I need to go up here, I need to go down here, this is a point that I'm landing on, this, you have those things that you target when you're reading a script. When you're shooting off the cuff, it's a little bit more fluid, but putting that transcript into a script and then reading it, you're able to re-hit those moments that you were hitting. So yeah, that's one way I used AI, but we've had audio transcription for the last 15 years. Like, it wasn't anything.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I've noticed too is that, like, because I use Google transcription quite a bit, and I do think it's taken a hit since they started using Gemini. I think that it's not been as good. And maybe that's purely anecdotal and not exactly accurate, but and another thing is that when we were in Taiwan, a lot of people were talking about AI, and one of the things that I thought was really interesting, and I don't necessarily agree with it or whatever, but it was an interesting take, because the only person I've ever heard say this, they're saying like, oh, I don't use it for its output, I use it for its process. I like use it to help me like make decisions on how to like write a better email, or plan my own, decision making, whatever. I thought that was kind of an interesting way you don't hear a lot of people talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I still wouldn't use it for that, but that's because I feel like I have to live inside my own brain 24/7. The least anybody can do that's interacting with me is tolerate me for, a minute and a half or whatever, This is my gift to the world, my personality, Jeff, and not going to let AI take that away from you. So,
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely used AI a couple of times, trying to figure out, like we started with, the parts of this job that I enjoy and that I'm really good at is the writing and the technical analysis and the coming up with an opinion from that analysis. It's what I get excited about as part of this job, is doing the testing and then going over the results and then forming your opinion based on those results. If I could AI the first part of that process, the testing part of that process, and only focus on the output and then give an opinion based on the benchmark results, this job is easy. The problem is we can only do the inverse. And the output, if I throw all my benchmarks into an algorithm and say, give me a layout for what you think these benchmarks mean, the AI is going to give its opinion, which is probably not my opinion, which means the output is worthless to me.
Yeah.
It takes the human part of it away. And the human part is the one important part.
Yep. And the other thing is like, I love this. There's this Kurt Vonnegut quote. It's like basically like we're all dancing monkeys or whatever, and our whole purpose on Earth is to fart around until we die. And like the whole goal of AI is to take the farting around away, you know. And I'm just like, there's not much more else to life. The problem is when you start plugging in all of these like extraneous goals, like generating, money to pay rent and buy food, then like, yeah, we have to dance a little different sometimes. But like, at the end of the day, there's still quite a bit of farting around to do until we bite the dust. And so,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
So they said that there's an education, and I would be interested in that. Like, you could literally just email 100 content creators or 100 industry people and be like, "What do you see this used for?" and get like a 1 sentence or 1 paragraph answer from everybody and compile that into a video. That would be really interesting.
That would be. Keep it anonymous, obviously, because I really
sure.
want people's opinions.
Yeah.
But what was interesting about this to me was Intel says there's an education gap with only 35% having a concrete understanding. Number one, I disagree that 35% know what the hell
Seems
they're
high.
doing. That seems high. Like I said, you know, double checking your programming work, I think that's a valid use case. Helping me write a better email. I already can write good emails. I don't need help in structuring a sentence. Like, I know some people do, and maybe that's helpful, but most people can string a sentence together, or reply to a bullet point email, or things like that. Like, a lot of people have that ability. I'm not trying to be ableist. I'm just stating out loud, like, for the general population.
Like, have you been making do writing emails since the dawn of email? Congratulations.
Yes.
You're doing it.
Right.
Like, and I know you've probably gotten into trouble for some emails. I've certainly gotten into trouble for writing emails. But you know what? That's the landscape. Point to me one person whose emails are impeccable and well received by everyone 100% of the time. It doesn't exist. It just doesn't.
I've almost been fired for a couple emails because they were so good. So
so good. See,
they were really, really good emails. Yeah, but the writing the email is the human element of it, and the analysis of the data, and the explaining a situation. That's the human element that needs to stay human. But yeah, looking at this result, Intel is saying it's an education problem.
Is that the only thing they say? Were there any other points on there?
I think that's actually twisting it. I think that's twisting it. I think what they're saying is 35% of people, again, probably high, have a concrete understanding of what AI is as far as a business proposition and productivity enhancer, and 65% do not. So we need to educate the other 65% of what we could be improving productivity-wise when it comes to AI. Or maybe there's not a concrete productivity enhancement because of AI.
Yeah, right. That's an interesting... See, that's a really interesting point of like how data is collected in these types of surveys. Because depending on how the question was posed, they could be like, oh, well, these people need to learn, versus people might be indicating based on the options available to them that there is no viable use case,
right? That
they don't believe that there is, but because of the because of the way that the questions and the answers might be provided.
Yep.
That's a really interesting thing I didn't consider until you just laid it out for me.
I don't know that there is a viable use case to the people that they were asking the question of. And if you say, well, there is no use case, Intel goes, look, they don't know that there's a use case out there. Of course Intel's going to say that. They're trying to sell you the solution.
And that's exactly the problem with polling in general about any concept ever, is that you have a select number of questions because they need to make it fit into their data set a certain way. But the problem with a survey or a poll is that you're never going to get 100% accurate like you're going to get what you measure. And in this case, Intel probably doesn't want it known that 65% of people polled think that AI can eat shit. You know, they don't want that out there because they want people buying their product.
Yeah. Moving on down the list here, because it gets even better. AI and security. There's a lot of questions around using AI and is it safe and things like that, because we've seen Samsung leak source code by uploading it to AI. By the way, you're the DevOps example from earlier. Did you upload your source code to AI, to ChatGPT? Unless I was an internal bot, that's probably a problem.
And that's what a lot of people are doing now. They're like licensing their own model, I guess, or I don't know what you would call it, where it's not connected to the greater web or
correct. Yeah, you're
whatever,
running a closed model, a pre-trained model, and then adding your own training inference and things like that to it.
Right.
But Intel survey revealed that roughly 33% of non-adopters cite security as their biggest concern around AI PCs. Is it safe to use? In contrast, only 23% of people using AI highlight security as a challenge. Knowledge is a significant roadblock to AI PC adoption as well, according to Intel. More specifically, 34% of respondents listed the need for training as the biggest issue.
Yeah.
Notably, 33% of those who use AI PCs have not experienced any issues at all, security-related or otherwise. Again, with that 1/3 of the population number, nah, I use AI every day, and it's absolutely perfect. No problems whatsoever. In what job, in what field, in what industry, for what purpose, to what extent, to what percentage of your job, I'm not saying there's not a use case. I'm not saying there aren't things that can enhance productivity. I'm saying in general, I'm seeing a lot of smoke and mirror.
And it's just it. And then maybe you saw this week, Jeff, that Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, came out and said, we're going to have a big fraud problem soon because of all this AI stuff. Did you see that one?
Oh, yeah.
What's crazy is that he's only now saying that, but anybody with half a brain was asking these questions 2 or 3 years ago, where you'd go to CES, for example, right after all of these tools drop, like ChatGPT dropped, and the marketing reps would be saying, like, we are essentially bolstering the security workforce with the equivalent of 1 million security personnel thanks to our AI tools. And then any journalist or any industry person with half a brain would say, am I still here?
There yeah, you're still here. Sorry.
They would say,
real quick.
Don't sweat it. I'm yelling to the audience. They would say, well, okay, 1 million security personnel boost, but doesn't that also mean that all of the fraudsters and the grifters and the people trying to test your systems have a 1 million person boost? And now they're only just saying this years later? Like, it just shows you from the get-go. Like, if Sam Altman wasn't thinking about that 3 years ago, then he's an idiot. And if he's not, then he's a grifter. So what is it? You know?
Maybe
take your pick. Are you going to give your money to the biggest idiot alive, or are you going to get grifted? Your choice.
I mean, isn't that the question for the last 20 years? Like,
I mean, this has been the question for tech for 10 years, at least.
You know what AI is being used for today? Like, the primary thing that I see it being used for today. Fraud.
Yeah, no.
So this is, like, look, email scams are nothing new. You know, the Nigerian prince, you know, I have $63 million, but I can't cash it out because my family I'm estranged from and blah, blah, blah. And please kindly do the needful and let me transfer my wealth to you and I will give you a finder's fee in the United States. You and only you can help me. You've also won the UK lottery as part of this random sweepstakes. Yeah. Do you know what AI is being used for today? Making AI or making email scams and actually Facebook Messenger and fake profile scams that much more believable because they use proper English and modern speaking. You know, I get these emails all the time from dozens of different companies. Actually, here's the NVIDIA one, and they all read like this. Hi, I'm Lauren Finkel, the PR lead at NVIDIA. No, you're not. I know everyone at NVIDIA. No, you're not. We admire your innovative content and ability to engage audiences through technical storytelling. As we prepare to launch our next generation AI-powered GPUs, by the way, this was on June 20th, they had already all launched. Your specialization complements our vision to redefine creative workflows. Early access to RTX 5000 series for performance testing. Jointly created tutorial series utilizing DLSS4. Do you know what an NVIDIA PR email reads? If you are in, or any PR email reads if you know the PR person and you've had like a multi-year relationship with? Hey Jeff, the new cards are coming out in January. NDA? And you go, yeah. And they go, okay, cool. We're launching this one on this day, this one on this day. You'll have the card on Thursday. Drop dead date for embargo is the 27th. Let me know if you have any questions. Driver should be in the portal by Friday morning.
Perfect.
That's what the email reads.
Wow, human relationships in a nutshell.
Right. And you know what? They didn't even have to send that email through AI to get the point across. But that's what every email from every PR person I've ever worked with reads. That there's none of this boilerplate corporate speak, unless it's like an introductory email. What this is someone sending out introductory emails, trying to hit creators and going, we'd like to work with you. I thought of this one, but actually let me...
real quick too, Jeff, Justin's in chat saying it's surprising that technology people are always so pessimistic about AI. It's just a tool. You're like the old man screaming, not you. They are like the old man screaming, get off my lawn. And I just want to say, like, the point that we're making there, Justin, isn't necessarily against the tool, right? It's also about the grift. I mean, when you realize that these tools aren't necessarily...
Sorry, I'm going to screen cap again. 1 sec.
When these tools aren't necessarily optimizing your output or providing peak level value, and that they are about extracting as much value and capital out of the ecosystem as possible while containing you within their own walled garden, it begins to look like a little different picture, right? When you realize that half of the irritating ass AI internet search results are factually incorrect or outright lying to you, and then that's harming the people that own the websites that can give you the true information, it begins to look a little bit different. It's nothing like a code editor, because a code editor has never actively destroyed the internet before.
Right.
If we're pessimistic about it, it's because that there's a huge amount of idiots out there who don't even know how to use it and continue to use it. I think we've talked about this on the show before, where we've expressed some level of optimism about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the farther it goes on, and the more and more that the grift is laid bare and the mask is coming off, the more pessimistic we get, because it's the way that the entire industry is leaning. Anyway, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm pulling up a couple other examples of ones that actually were way more difficult to read through. So let me...
Yeah, you know what you don't want to have in a marketing email or a business partnership email? Language that's difficult to get through.
Yeah.
Justin feels the same way about journalist, capital J, that have continued to lie to us non-stop. All right, man. Well, I suggest that you lean on the rules of journalism that they've been teaching for 100 years about, vetting sources and corroborating stories, right? The reason that there have been so many rules of journalism in place for so long is so that there is a level of trust that you can ascertain for yourself. But if you're just reading whatever people say in a newspaper or whatever, I don't know what to tell you then.
Yeah.
We're in the age of disinformation. AI is lying to you just as much as journalists are, I guess.
Yeah, sorry. A couple of these are interesting, especially because one of them I almost fell for. And that's me.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? It's like you're tired. You're working by yourself. You need to engage with these emails to make money.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take one perfectly written email to bypass your systems. It takes 200 shit ones. and because you're tired and overworked and underpaid, it gets through. Like, are you going to be able to stop the onslaught of 1,000 emails per month that are designed to grift you and to steal from you in some subtle way? I mean, and the sheer number of links that half these people have to send, it's like, well, here's a link to the press kit, here's a link to this thing, here's a link to that. You got to click on these links if you're going to do business.
Right. So actually, we'll just go straight to that one. Sorry, I had to make sure I get screen caps of all these. There we go. Let me show you all what AI is being used for today. Okay. This was in December. I got an email from info@dasani.pro. Dasani, the Coca-Cola owned water company.
Blue water.
Yeah. A weird integration to reach out, but companies do marketing all the time, and maybe they saw that I drink beer, and maybe they went, hey, Jeff, you want to drink water for 2 weeks, and we'll give you money, and you can promote Dasani water. We have, like, new smart water coming out, or we have this or whatever that.
And it's December, dry January is coming up. This feels brilliant.
This feels like a thing that could happen, and it looks like it's coming from a legitimate email domain.
And for the record, anybody who's thinking this is crazy, we've reached out to water companies for partnerships before.
Absolutely. But anyway, I got an email from Dasani, info@dasani.pro. Hi, how are you doing? My name is Joan. I'm with a company called Dasani. I've been following your channel for a while. Wanted to reach out with an idea. If you're curious to hear what I have in mind, just hit reply and I'll share more details. Let me know what you think. Warm regards, Joan, Team Dasani. Not a terrible written email. I'm a little concerned there's no last name and there's a period after Dasani right there. But other than that, it's a fine email. Thanks for reaching out. If you want to send over some more information or details or schedule a time to chat, I'd be happy to keep the conversation going. You know, a lot of companies won't lay all their cards out on the table all at once. We want to do an integration campaign, blah, blah, blah. They go, hey, are you interested in working with X company? And you say yes. So, yeah. So what I got was back this. Hello, my name is Joan, and I'm your personal manager for the duration of this collaboration. We're glad to hear you're interested in a collaboration. We believe that your content you create is a great way to promote our product. Again, like, this could have some synergy, right? If it's Dasani reaching out, this could have some synergy. Dasani water is purified and enhanced with a proprietary blend of minerals to give it a, go over the marketing crap. You will need to insert our 10 to 16 second commercial in the first 5 minutes of your video. YouTube can't do that. The commercial has to be created by the creator or the company that is airing the video. That's actually in the YouTube creator terms of service. Anything that you air on your channel, you have to create unless you are citing a source or doing a reaction or something like that. You can't insert material from another company purely for promotional purposes. Read the terms of service, people. But anyway, we also send our partners a box of our water as a gift immediately after signing the cooperation agreement, blah, 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 blah. The thing that stood out to me was not any of this. All of this, totally fine. This is standard stuff that I read all the time for integrations with companies. For your cooperation, did we lose YouTube?
Did we?
I didn't say we... Hold on. Are we okay?
I don't know. I always have the video paused.
It says we dropped for a second. OBS didn't say we dropped any frames, but I did get an internet connection error. Yeah, blip. Okay.
Yeah. Blip. Sign off, chat. Chat, are we there?
Yeah, dropped. Okay. We should be back. OBS says good.
Woo!
Yeah, it says yeah a couple times. Okay.
We start talking crap about Sam Altman, and he jumps online and sends ChatGPT.
Should have taken that Comcast sponsorship. Well done, Oft.
Yeah. Dasani's calling you, but what you really need is... Well, and in fact, though, and a water company is reaching out offering a sponsorship, and because of the prevalence and rise of AI and AI data centers, that money is going to be... Water is going to be like gold soon. It's going to be like its own currency. So get on it now.
Here's where they got with this, though. Okay? is again Dasani.us.com. I probably should have caught that because us.com is not a good domain name.
Yeah.
But I missed it. If you go down here, https dasani.pro, I did check that. That actually does link back to dasani.com, back to their website. Now it's just a redirect. And I do remember looking up who owns Dasani.pro, and it was some holding company. It wasn't Coca-Cola, but it wasn't like Joe Blow in Indonesia. You know, it was a US based holding company, and I went, yeah, that tracks. Anyway, I'm attaching the link to the DocuSign contract to this post for your perusal. DocuSigning.com. And then invitation to view the contract is this code right here. When you type it in, you get a zip file. The zip file contains a PDF document. The PDF document steals your cookies and takes over your YouTube channel.
Ooh,
this isn't the one I almost fell for. This isn't the one I almost fell for. The one I almost fell for was Bethesda. Or no, sorry, other way around. I did almost fall for the Dasani because there were so many things that were so close. But I did opt out on the downloading the zip file. It's like, no, we're not going to do that. But this is another one. Bethesda in 2023, June 18th. Bethesda Game Studios invites you to participate in a pre-release advertising campaign for Starfield in 2023. We'd like to talk about the game and whatnot. Again, probably a pretty easy integration. Makes sense on the channel. You know, let's build a PC for Starfield. Let's mod a PC for Starfield. This kind of thing happens with creators all the time. So again, I kind of sent back, hello, I'm definitely aware of Starfield and eagerly awaiting its release myself. I'd be more than happy to run pre-roll integrations ahead of launch. I'm open to other collaborations via sponsored posts. Attach my current rate sheet. Let me know what you think. And then they sent back a pretty similar thing. So number one, I didn't tell him I already said I was familiar. And then he responded, let me tell you a little bit about the product we're promoting. Starfield is an open world. Okay, I already said I was familiar. Here's where you lost me. Also, if anyone noticed the email, this is asit.sk. This is out of, I believe, Switzerland. And it is a common domain right now for scams to come out of. It's basically, it's a free email service. And so nothing that comes out of there is legit. And in fact, I've blocked that domain entirely from receiving email. So if you live in Switzerland, sorry, my domain can't receive mail from you. Or at least if you use asit.sk. But read more about the game here, Bethesda.net/EN game Starfield. Cool. Yeah, that totally goes. Brief information and cooperation and payment. Google Drive. Again, not necessarily a red flag. The email domain definitely was, but Google Drive is not necessarily a red flag. Direct link to Media Kit. Number one, Media and Kit. They didn't have spaces in there. There's a couple other grammatical errors in this. But Bitly, instead of hosting it on a Bethesda thing, it's just Bitly. And that went somewhere weird. And the key is Starfield. Now, you might think that's stupid, but no, that's incredibly common. If you go to any, and I mean any, tech conference, and you go, what's the Wi-Fi password? It's the name of the company, the current year, and an exclamation point. That'll get you into any Wi-Fi network, any conference you go to ever. Any conference. AMD 2025 exclamation point. Guess what? We filled our 8-digit criteria. We have 3 different character types with a special character at the end. There you go.
I remember one time I got hired to do kind of like an examination of these specialty machines throughout Oregon. And I just had to go and be like a paying customer and look at the machines and blah, 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 blah. And I remember that like just looking at the machines and messing with them, there was like, oh, you can get into like admin function if you know the password. And out of like 100 machines examined, none of them had the password changed from 0000.
Mm-hmm. That tracks. That tracks.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, but no, that so those are emails just in the last 12 months. The ones I've been receiving more recently, like the NVIDIA one that I showed off, those are using far better grammar, far better punctuation, and much more enticing and engaging language. There's none of the there's none of the hallmarks of, and again, this is just a fact of life, non-English, non-native English speakers, non-US English speakers, putting words in the wrong order or punctuation or missing spaces or things like that. There are ways that we form our grammar and write our sentences and whatnot, and it's very easy to tell when someone's a non-native English, especially US-based English speaker. And that's usually a hallmark that someone's trying to scam you, especially if they purport to come from a US-based company. So that's getting more difficult. And like I said, the Dasani one, it came from Dasani.pro. I don't know that Dasani.pro is not necessarily Dasani's website. And everything about that checked out, except for DocuSigning.
Yeah. And then that's the other thing. And, we're talking about how threat actors are just using AI to write better emails. The truth of the matter is that if you're able to use these things to generate your own little scripts, for example, what's stopping anybody from using them to generate their own little snippets of code to then, do something malicious? I mean, that's what all of these people, I use them in my DevOps all the time, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, I guess anybody can do that, and then they can do something malicious with it too. So, it's not just now they're writing better English. It's all of these other things that people are dreaming of making their jobs easier or whatever. Well, it's making their job easier too. So
Terrapup says, remember, if it's too good to be true, then it probably is. Except the emails that I pointed out, the reason that those are special, the reason that those are effective for some creators, is that's the way business is done in this industry. It's emails to and from different companies. I had an ad agency reach out for, is it NordPass or NordVPN not that long ago. I've worked with NordPass before, but NordPass has a different marketing team than NordVPN, even though they're both owned by Nord. And I had a marketing agency on behalf of NordVPN reach out and say, hey, do you want to do a NordVPN ad? I said, yes, here's my rate card. They said, great, we'll agree to do one of those. I had fewer email interactions with a company that actually paid me money and did an integration than I did with the scam companies. So you're saying if it sounds good, too good to be true. And I made more money off NordVPN than they were offering me. And so, no, that's how business is done in this space. So,
I mean, none of those are really, aside from some of the weird things that stand out or set your alarms up a little bit, that's normal stuff still.
Yeah.
Remember, we're dealing with companies from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it wasn't unusual to
that
have an email that you got to decipher
a couple $1,000s for a 30-second clip. And there's not a lot of oversight there, and there's not a lot of back and forth that happens for script reviews on a 30-second clip. A 30-second clip is 7 sentences, if that. 6 sentences the most. So, yeah, there's not a lot of revisions you make to those. There's not a lot of back and forth. They're paying you for the integration, for the time that's spent on the channel, not necessarily the time that goes into making it.
I think the spirit of what Terrapup is saying is true, but it's just one of those things you have to really adjust what your too good to be true meter is, right? And
before we get too much further, we'll dive back into AI here in a second. I have a beer that I want to open, and I needed a knife to do this one.
Ooh,
a little baby knife. We got a wax top, folks.
Ooh.
Yes. We got a Fort George wax top. This is the etymology.
Ooh.
Etymology, a select blend of English, American, and red barley wine ale aged 12 to 20 months in Westward whiskey and Russell rye barrels.
Wow. Amazing. Where'd you get this?
13%.
Where did you get that?
I got this down at the old Capital Market. The whatever they
No,
call themselves
really?
now. I did.
And I gotta go back in there.
Yeah. They had one bottle left.
Wow.
So,
for the record, I did finish that Shanky's Whip or whatever that was called, and I did open a beer. Should be familiar to many people. Yeah. So
it's funny, as I almost picked up a couple Freems tonight for myself.
Yeah.
I had one in my hand, and then the Fort George was calling my name, so.
I know that their Pilsner is like renowned, everybody loves it, but I love some of their other beers more. So, but the Pilsner is drinkable. Quite drinkable.
Baby. Skull says, you had me at Rye Barrels and Wax Top. Reverend says, desire. I have the mod's attention. Oh, that is a caramel color.
Oh, I love it.
That is a rich caramel.
How big's your bottle there?
It's a 16.9.
Oh, okay.
So
God, it looks a lot bigger.
Slightly over a pint, yeah. I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. Yeah, beautiful color. I agree, Craig. Dang, that looks delicious. Yes. So what else is AI being used for today?
Do tell me, Jeff. I want to know.
Well, here's RFK Jr. Seen trying to keep his brain worm at operating temperature. The FDA's new drug approval AI is hallucinating and generating fake studies to both discredit and approve potential drugs. Because that's what AI does right now.
You know what's crazy, though, about this? They didn't even need AI to do this.
Remember just when they come up with a BS reason to say no?
Remember when they just cherry-picked all their bullshit to take ivermectin?
Uh-huh.
That was based off of some
the horse
study
dewormer? Yeah.
That was supposedly legitimate. One study out of a sea of... Why do they need AI to hallucinate to do this?
Yeah.
It's all right. We're going to be okay, Jeff. I'm feeling my operating temperature rising.
Yeah. So, like, any use case that you could possibly give, which is... The problem with this, the problem with even using AI to analyze scientific studies that are put forward, is there's no logic to understand what the scientific study is trying to say. If it is a new discovery, a new mechanism, a new medicine, something that hasn't been done before, some new method of creation, some new manufacturing process, whatever the thing is, there's no basis of reference for AI to check itself on. And that's the thing with AI today, is it's based on everything that's already happened. It can't create new, nor can it interpret new. It doesn't know what to do with new.
I mean, am I wrong in reading that headline that's like a lot of people are going to get hurt? Like, yes. The FDA's drug approval AI is faking reports?
Yes.
Like, I hope y'all, I guess, enjoy the day where you could go down to the drugstore and, like, buy Tylenol and expect to not be murdered, even though apparently there's a bunch of documentaries about people getting murdered from Tylenol. So pick a different drug, I guess.
I mean, Tylenol's the reason we have peel tops on every medicine bottle. Because it took 3 people getting sick over the course of, like, 4 months for every single pharmaceutical company to put tamper-proof tops on the tops of their bottles. It took 3 people getting sick. That's a fun fact.
You know, and all of this AI talk, Jeff, hasn't even gotten into the fact that there's like this $200 million contract with the Department of Defense for Grok of all AI models. Grok. This is the same week.
You missed a couple zero. 2 billion.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I can't keep up.
Yeah.
Because again, this whole thing, AI is apparently about separating money from those of us at the bottom and funneling it up to the people at the top. And 200 million, 2 billion, it's the same number to me. I'm never going to see that much. But the point is, this is the same week that they get awarded this contract that Grok goes off on its Mecha Hitler rant. So you tell me what we're all in stock for.
Yeah.
Tylenol is extremely deadly when too much is taken. Yo, is Justin an AI bot? He's just in here like saying AI generated things all day. Liver failure. The only way that could have been more AI generated is if you used M dashes instead of parentheses. Which, watch, Justin's probably the most real person in this chat, and I'm just giving him so much shit tonight.
No, liver failure is a potential thing with Tylenol. I believe Justin.
Of course it is,
Justin,
but it's one of the safest drugs ever on the face of the planet. They sell, like, of course it's dangerous. It can harm you just like any drug. Just like...
Don't worry, Justin, I believe you.
But it's just like... Yeah, I just enjoy triggering you. No, I know that it can harm your liver. It says it on the label, Justin. Jesus. Like... But anyway, the point is, I guess the point is that now those drugs will be fewer and farther between. Fewer and farther between.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, I use M dashes too, man. For me, I don't know how other people do it, but I have to type the alt code. I have to hold alt and I have to type 0151. But I use M dashes all the time.
No, I use parentheses or ellipses.
Ellipses always make me feel bad to use. Because they're like extremely boomer coded, you know what I mean?
How dare you? How dare you, sir?
No, like I just mean like before the age of like texting, I feel like ellipses, like I loved them. I used them all the time. But then you get into the age of texting and like boomers joining Facebook, and all of a sudden it becomes so boomer coded. It's like there's like a few emojis that are like really boomer coded too, you know? And I'm just like, I see them and I'm yeah. Yes. I'm like, oh no.
Do you know what I did to avoid that? I started doing the double thumbs up.
There you go. Perfect.
So it's not being sarcastic. It's going, I hear you and I appreciate. Like, yeah. Or actually, I switched to this. I switched to
Rocker. I do the horns a lot. I do the horns a lot. But I also make sure that my emoji's skin is brown. That seems to remove a little bit of boomer codedness too.
Jordan said at the top of the show in chat, "Oh, it's Rett, the most racially ambiguous person I know."
I know like the default color is yellow and that's excusable, but I always give a little bit of a look when they've changed it to be like a more pale-skinned emoji, you know? I'm like, you should have just stuck to yellow, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody knows the Simpsons skin tones.
I've never wanted to be more white, okay?
Yeah.
We're an hour in, this show's going off the rails.
It's just like AI, man. It's just poisoning everything. I just can't. Anyway.
Moving into things that's affecting me as a creator, other than AI slop, and they're coming for my creative job, and they're trying to scam me out of all the money by making me click on PDFs and crap like that. Surprising no one, new research says AI overviews cause massive drop in search clicks.
This is what I was talking about earlier. Admittedly, I did see Jeff put this in the notes. But this is what I was talking about earlier when people were talking about how it's just a tool, and I said, well, a freaking, any IDE or coding tool or whatever is not taking clicks away from somebody's blog that has the only correct answer that I need. You know what I mean? I mean, we talked about this in Taiwan, I think.
Yeah.
The AI. Yeah, this was on that podcast that you were on.
Yeah.
With Adam Patrick Murray. I think you guys talked about this.
That rings a bell.
It's the AI. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, he did his podcast at midnight, so it's a little hard for me to keep up.
It was, but essentially, yeah, it's the AI overview. You're trying to ask a question, and instead of because that's how we've been trained to use Google. I think that's what really set millennial users of Google apart from the Gen X and the Boomer users was that we weren't afraid to just type a question into Google. What's the best replacement for this in a cocktail? Boom, and then we can get a bunch of blogs or whatever posts, people talking, well, I like to use turmeric, or I like to use ginger, or I like to use whatever. But now AI, Gemini specifically, if you're using Google, puts that right at the top, and so you don't click on a website.
Right.
Google is capturing, and that's not even mentioning all of the people that have just used the Chat GPT website now as a replacement search engine, and they just go to chat dot whatever AI and then sit there and type, what's the best replacement for this in a cocktail?
Okay. There we go. Okay, OBS has reconnected and is resending. Reconnection successful. Okay. Believe it or not, you guys didn't miss anything because we saw the drop happen because Rett's screen froze, and I said, wait, hold up. And then my internet dropped, and then my internet came back, and he came back, and then he started talking again, and I said, nope, we're going to save it. Hold on. Wait for OBS. Rett, blink 3 times to make sure you haven't been replaced by an AI. That was only twice.
Suddenly I'm blinking in code.
Yes.
Blink, blink, blink.
Torture.
Blink, 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 blink. Blink, blink, blink. Blink, 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 blink.
You said something a second ago that blew my mind. That
wow, okay.
Inadvertently blew my tiny millennial mind. My doesn't want to do anything mind. Right? The no work ethic mind. You said millennials for the longest time have been trained how to use Google. We know inherently how we type the best search queries.
We do. This is what set us apart in the work world.
Yet I'm going to be pro AI here I'm going to be pro AI bro for literally half a second. Yet we slammed the ever-loving crap out of prompt engineers.
Yeah.
People know how to get the best results out of AI, and they're not us.
I have no defense, only vibes. I have no logical retort except that, do you hear what you're saying? Prompt engineer? We know how to Google shit, but when was the last time you put that on a resume, man? You know what I mean? It's I
have seen it plenty of times on resume, and I have hired for that skill.
And thank God you did, because you understood it. But other people, it's I go into the interview and they're like, oh, do you know how to do this? I'm like, no, but I know how to find out how to do it.
Yep. And honestly, in the tech field, that's the skill that we're looking for, is if you don't know, can you train yourself? Can you find the answer
yourself? Once
yourself?
on God's green earth did we sit there and say, well, actually, I'm an internet search engineer. That's
The person who said that, I'm really good at Googling, and that was their only redeeming quality, they didn't get the job. The people who got the job were the people who had a general understanding of everything that we were asking them, and if they didn't have a general understanding, no, but I know how I can figure that out. I could probably learn that in an afternoon. I can Google the right thing, I can read the right paper, I can come back tomorrow and I know what I'm doing. Or if
I know how to get started.
I know how to get started. I know how to, figure out my own path. Those were the people that we hired.
I'm not convinced that skill is even remotely what they're trying to convey when they say that I'm a
prompt engineer.
A prompt engineer.
Yeah, they're the people who are thinking they're discovering new elements on the periodic table, or solving scientific theorems that are 100 years old, or cracking the laws of quantum physics. No, your AI was hallucinating again.
And the funny thing is that when you break it down, however you prompt these AIs and blah, 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 it's like by the time that you've finished putting in every exception to the rules that you're trying to establish, it's like, you could have just written the paper yourself, man. Like, I don't know. I only have vibes. I got nothing else to say about that except for the fact that, like, I truly do not believe that the vibe of a person who knows how to Google something and can convey that in a professional setting is what they're trying to convey when they say that they're a prompt engineer.
Yeah.
Prompt engineer is like next level LinkedIn posting garbage. You know what I mean? That's like...
Sorry, I just saw a note from our mods in our private chat. Justin has been this way in chat since he started talking LMAO. No, that's just Justin. He's cool. Sorry to cut you off. That was great.
I know. The truth is, and Rev said that like a half hour ago too.
Yeah.
But the truth is that I think I just notice it because he's engaging directly with everything I'm saying, and so I see it, I'm like, oh hell no. Like there's always like one person every once in a while when we get on these rants that just like has my number. They know how to get me to respond to them in chat. Because there's whole conversations going, but only Justin is responding to what I'm saying. Probably because I'm so damn loud, but anyway, he's been a good sport about it. He's still here. So, all that to say that AI prompt engineers can...
Yeah. And this isn't just one site saying it. So Ars Technica has noticed a massive drop. 404 Media, which if you're not subscribed to them, definitely go subscribe. # not sponsored, although call me. I'd be happy to promote 404 Media. I am a user myself.
That was the topic of conversation on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what's his magazine or his website? PC World?
PC World. Yeah.
PC World. Is that PC World was experiencing a dramatic decrease in traffic.
Yeah.
And the only thing that anybody could attribute it to was the rise in AI generated overviews or AI search functions.
Yeah. 404 Media has gone out and claimed that if a search result includes an AI summary, they have seen their clicks drop by 99%. They have seen their click-through rate for search results down to 1% of normal activity if a search includes an AI summary.
Yeah. And I can believe it. And I don't know about you. Yeah. Like, here's the thing. I hate the AI overviews.
But I find myself reading it.
More and more as time goes on. Because they get longer, I swear to God. Yeah. And I have to fight the urge. And that urge I have, like, you know how you're sitting around, you're drinking beers with your buddies, and you say something outlandish. Maybe this just happens to me because you know me. I say something wild, and everybody pulls out their phones, and they're like, "Well, that's not true."
That can't be true.
And I
Yeah.
have this knee jerk reaction where I say, don't just read the overview, actually look. And I have to try so hard now,
Yeah.
months into this battle, to apply that same uh whatever to myself.
We as millennials used to skip the top 3 search results because those were sponsored results, and then the fourth
Yeah.
one was the
Yeah.
one to go with.
Yeah.
Or for a while, Google was doing the 1, 2, 3 in tiles, and then the one below the tiles was it. And now they've gone back to the top result is probably a sponsored one, and then a real one, and then another sponsored one, and then a real one. And now they're putting the AI overview on the very top, and then a sponsored one, and then maybe the real result on the third. And so, like, yeah, that's a Google skill that I've had a lifetime to curate,
Yeah.
or at least 27 years to curate.
You know, yeah, man. And I have to try really hard to get myself, even when I'm just checking something. If it's on my phone for whatever reason, man, it's because that AI overview takes up the whole screen. I'm like, oh,
It
well,
does. Almost intentionally so.
and it's painful.
Weird, right?
And I keep saying this all the time, but it's like I keep going. I'm almost becoming like more and more of like an internet recluse. Like I'm trying to stop streaming music. I listen to music that I purchased that I can control. I want to go that way for television and movies and stuff again.
Yeah.
And it's like I almost pine for the day where it's like you used to go to the bar and like the bartender was the one that settled your bets or your whatever, right? Where it's like, you know, I always think about that scene in Good Will Hunting where Robin Williams is talking to Stellan Skarsgård and he's all, oh, well, you know who else was a genius? You know, Ted Kaczynski. And he's all like, who's Ted Kaczynski? And instead of like lording it over him, he asked the bartender, hey, who's Ted Kaczynski? And he's like, yeah, it's the Unabomber.
Unabomber. Hey.
Yeah. Well, because they're in Boston, you know. So
right.
It's like, I'm walking here.
Yeah.
It's the Unabomber. You know.
Gotta find my khakis. They're in my khaki pockets.
Yeah. My khakis are in my khakis. And whatever other horrendous stereotypes of Boston we can fit into one conversation. You got a whole video game based on Boston. I love that we
could be racist towards Bostonians and no one cares.
Yeah, they're Bostonians. You got a whole Fallout based on you. All right, back up. It's just like, here's the game franchise
Fenway
about
Field.
like...
No, Diamond City, motherfucker.
Anyway, I don't know. I just find myself like recoiling so much from everything that's happening with the internet, and I feel like it's being accelerated by the shitification that AI is doing. And I don't know, man. It's just so weird going from like such an enthusiast and such a like an optimist. Chat going off about Boston right now.
Look, I live in Portland. You can make fun of me all you want. I'm a born and bred Oregonian, so bring it on.
We have our...
I've got my
I haven't been to a hobo camp this big since Eugene, Oregon.
We've got our own stereotypes, and I've got the glasses and hats to prove it. So...
all that to say, if you're tired of AI slop results ruining your time, the DuckDuckGo browser now has a turn off this AI result. So there you go. Go for it. It's not perfect, but it's something. I mean, it's wild. Like, this whole thing has been enough for me to stop using Google as a search engine in general. I do end up using it on my phone because it's like a button on my phone that I can do. But on my desktop and my laptop, the Google Internet query is done.
Yep. Yeah,
And yeah, sadly,
I'm on Firefox now.
yeah,
I moved off of Chrome.
I am on Firefox with the DuckDuckGo browser extension. And yeah, my search queries have taken a little bit of a hit.
I'm on Firefox. See,
Boom.
here's my Firefox window. There you go.
And yeah, I mean, duck duck bro. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's time. It's time to do stuff. It's time to fight back. It's time to try to walk the walk,
Yeah.
because they're going to continue to try to capture as much as our internet presence as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been building on this LLM bullshit for 3 or 4 years now, and it's not really gotten any better. And the ways that they actively push it, I mean, that's the thing. Really confine it to your own little corner of the web, but don't push it on me. The fact that I can mistakenly press a freaking button that summarizes the contents of my damn Google Drive folder. A folder! I don't need that! I can just open the damn folder and see for myself, man.
I got an email. So I have, for full transparency, obviously I'm in the Google ecosystem pretty hard. I'm on YouTube, which means I'm part of the YouTube ecosystem, which means I have YouTube accounts and things like that, and Google accounts tied to those. I also have a Google domain, enterprise domain, that I host a lot of my documents, a lot of my email. My email is hosted through Google. My websites are hosted through Google, or they used to until they sold that off to Squarespace for their website domain registrar, because Google Domains isn't a thing anymore. Hashtag killed by Google. The Gemini transcription of my emails is maddening, because remember how I said the emails that I get on a daily basis, especially from people that I know, from PR reps, from companies that I talk to, they're 1 or 2 word email or 1 or 2 sentence emails that say, hey, I've got this new project I'm working on. Are you free sometime this week to talk about it? We'd love to hook up. Jennifer or whatever. And at the top of that page, so the email is that many lines long on my screen. Yeah, and at the top of my page, I have 3 lines that says, Jennifer would like to reconnect. She has some new projects that Jeff might be interested in. She suggested a time that you could possibly meet about. It's like, yeah, I could read the sentences she wrote, mother.
That's what really blows my mind about the email summarizing
things. And you just rewrote them to me.
I mean, what emails are people getting that they can't just fucking read? Is anybody getting emails that are so long that they can't just read them themselves?
Gemini has also transcribed those 3 sentence emails wrong for me.
And the worst part about it is, Jeff, is that you load your email
and I can't
and you go to click
it off.
You go to click the button that you think you're pressing, and then boop, oh, the screen finished loading. There's the Gemini button that you just didn't want to click, but it popped it up right where your mouse was.
Right.
They can't even get you to use their fucking products without tricking you.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me that that's not intentional. This is one of the biggest companies on the face of the planet that has been doing email for 30 years. And you're going to tell me that that's an accident? No, you have all the fucking data from all of these profiles that you've been creating from my Google account for 20 years about where I click when I open the fucking window.
You know how I move my mouse.
I mean, this is the thing, Jeff. It's gotten so bad.
My mouse movements are very distinct.
Exactly. But that's the problem. They collect all of that info. I stopped using Gboard because of the profiles that they're collecting.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That they have all the data, and you're going to tell me it's an accident? Fuck you, Google. Put the button somewhere else, and I might have a little bit more respect for what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty deep into the Google ecosystem. I use Google Drive. I use Gmail. It hosts all of my stuff. It hosts really the core of my business outside of the video workflow.
Once you get on Workspace, what else are you going to do?
Right. Office 365? No.
I'm sorry, Microsoft. You've been late to the game.
Right.
Google been doing it, and they've been doing it good.
They've been doing it better for longer than you have. I'm sorry. I know you have Office. I know you got that street cred.
You're 100% right. I'm off of Google when I can, but my entire work life is tied up in the Google ecosystem. Yeah. And that is what it is. I've got my little log on every morning when I'm getting on to work. I press the button, and yes, I log in on my work account, and it's all there, and my passwords are saved, and all my workspace is there with all of my files organized how I need. But anything else, I'm off of it anymore. Anything else.
By the way, just a quick aside. If anyone ever gets that checking to see if you're human activity and you don't want to do a CAPTCHA, did you know if you wiggle your mouse during that, that's what it's looking for? If you wiggle your mouse during the verifying you're a human on a lot of websites, it'll go, oh yeah, they're a human. They're wiggling their mouse right now in non-linear ways. We'll bypass the CAPTCHA, and you can just carry on with your day.
But what's even more frustrating about CAPTCHAs, Jeff, is one PDX LAN within the last few years. I got locked out of my Steam account. And I'm sitting there trying to change my password and whatever, get back on. And it's like, yeah, click all the images with bikes on them. I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I can do that. I know what bikes look like. I've ridden them. I learned how to ride them. I've been riding them. I see them every day. Yet somehow I couldn't pass this CAPTCHA. I got locked out of my own Steam account because I couldn't click all the images that had bikes in them.
Then you went, what if I am a bot? What if I...
Yeah, seriously. I just can't. Somebody mentioned Proton Mail in chat, and I would recommend, if anybody can afford it, look at getting it. I know that the CEO of Proton Mail is another unethical billionaire, but the fact of the matter is that the product they're providing is probably the best product for what you want it to do. If what you're interested in is security and privacy. So, consider it. It's pretty cheap. If you're already paying for things like VPN, you might be paying the amount that you need to pay to get on Proton. So, I don't know. Food for thought, man. The tools, I mean, there's no ethical consumerism under capitalism anyway, so you may as well get onto something that has a proven track record of
We're all cogs in the
offering.
wheel anyway.
Right. Yeah, you may as well put your money somewhere that they kind of have a track record of offering what they say they do. I don't know. At least for now. Who knows if that'll change. Yeah, there are 4 lights, CAPTCHA. Seriously. It's where it's going. Oh. So, this has been a spicy stream.
Yeah.
It's been spicy.
I like it. I like spicy Rett. It's fun.
I just have a lot of strong feelings about AI. And really it's just more about the ecosystem that it's building. And the ecosystem that we're expected to reside in if you want to have a digital or online footprint in any way. And
I have said multiple times, I'm not on board the AI hype train, but I'm not necessarily against its development, against some of its use cases, even some of the more controversial ones when it comes to image generation and things like that. Because while I'm not saying prompt your way to success and use the output as given, what I am saying is there is some value as a creative professional to being able to generate something that is the thing in your mind's eye that you might be struggling to get to paper, and being able to move on from the jump off point. Because sometimes that's the most difficult part of a project, or the most difficult part of getting something off the ground. There is some value in maybe you host a D&D campaign and you want to create AI avatars of your players' characters and depict them in different scenes. And so you train the AI on, this is what X character looks like, and now let's put X character on the battlefield. Let's use that battlefield, and let's explain the situation as it's happening. You can give some visuals to the campaign as you're telling it. I don't think that's inherently a bad thing. Is it using assets that already exist in the world? Yeah, probably. Is it also combining them in ways that the original artist didn't entail? Also, yes, which makes it transformative. And so, like, there is something to be said for that as well.
Yeah. I think what we're talking about is like a level, the harm level, right? It's like, that's harmless.
Right, that is
There's nobody harmed.
Yeah.
You're not taking bread off anybody's table. You're doing something that and not trying to pass it off as your own. You're not trying to, any number of things that are kind of morally scrupulous, right?
Correct.
And I think that that's the place where I think that it's fine. And I don't have a problem with it existing. What I have a problem with is the way that it's being injected into every product when it doesn't need to be.
Correct.
What you're describing is like a pretty open-ended, laid-back use case.
Logitech going, hey, here's a mouse, now with AI. Guess what my mouse didn't need? AI.
Yeah.
Cooler Master going, here's some AI-generated thermal paste. That was a thing.
Oh, no. This thermal paste helps with our, our latest AI, chips. It's like,
that was a thing.
Oh, no. My will to continue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just so frustrating. Look, and the problem is that we all watch like the NFT bubble, for example, which is like one of, I think, the closest like approximations we have in the tech space to what they're trying to do. We all watch that explode and fizzle and pop in real time. And the problem is that it's like, if you have any idea of what AI is, and you're watching what all of these companies are trying to say that it is, you're like, when is the other shoe going to drop?
Yeah.
And for some reason it hasn't, because it has such a generalized kind of appeal that they've been manufacturing with terms like AI, even though it doesn't deserve to be called that. And now we have to sit here and clarify well, we're not talking about general AI. Yeah.
Terrapup says AI is being pushed like cloud was pushed back in the day. You know what the funniest thing is cloud is coming back around to on-prem cloud. Self-hosted. Right. The cloud that you own in the servers in your environment that you paid for the infrastructure for.
Can you even call that on the cloud, though?
HP has an entire line of servers that they call on-prem cloud. They are marketing hosting your own cloud on your systems in your closed network. Not cloud. They have literally come full circle as to kill the meaning of the original word, which was bullshit in the first place.
Which is, it's so par for the course for the world that we're living in now. That is this just like reality that has been manufactured contrary to how you perceive it. Words mean whatever the marketing execs say they mean. On-prem cloud, I could have gone the rest of my life without knowing that this is something that some asshole is trying to market.
Thank you.
Like, it's just.
Do I have red alert? Oh no, it's not there. Where's my
no,
red alert?
It's gone.
No! I thought I had it. Hold on.
Times have changed.
No, my rant alert. What happened to my
rant alert?
Yeah,
I saw something, but it's broken.
No, it's broken. No. I need to fix my rant alert. That's what needs to happen.
Everybody's trying to reinvent what we used to call Rett alerts.
Yes. They started as Rett alerts and eventually became rant alerts because I had them too.
Yeah, that's right.
So we went through multiple phases of it, but yeah, I think the imagery that I came up with did say rant alert.
I just hate that. Like, and I understand that, I guess maybe like on-prem cloud is like aimed at a certain somebody, and on a certain level it makes sense to have something like, but you know what I would rather have is like, you just call it what it is, and then when you're trying to sell it to them, it's like, yes, it's like the cloud except you self-host it.
Yeah. Can you add the sound effect too, says Jay? I had the sound effect in the original one.
That was way back.
The whole L-cars lit up red and chased red lights around, and we had the red alert sound that went off twice.
The sound, you know, the last time I remember the sound effect, that was Craft Studios 2.0, the upstairs studio.
Yeah.
I just can't.
No, we've had it. I've had it on the remote show.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while. The sound effect, anyways, what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I recall the sound effect, but maybe the sound effect happens, I just don't hear it remotely.
I think it does, but it plays through OBS, which you don't get. You only get the microphone.
That probably seems fair.
Yeah.
Because that tracks with when I would have really forgotten about it. So
yeah.
Yeah. The existence of on-prem cloud as a concept, I think, like, really sums up to me the just absolute rot of the tech consumer world.
Yes.
Because on the surface of it, like I said, like even I was rationalizing a minute ago. So, oh yeah, like it makes sense to call it that, like, you know, almost maybe more of like a description, a product description than anything. I'm tired.
I'm tired.
I just can't. Yeah. Yakto. I hate to tell you, but on-prem cloud has existed as long as cloud.
I know. As soon as cloud came out as a buzzword, there was the counterculture buzzword, which was on-prem cloud. Oh, we already do cloud. It's called the servers we already have.
But you know what I'll say in the defense of the cloud is that it did a very good job of describing or abstracting out this idea to people who aren't tech oriented.
I don't think it did.
It's almost as like, you think about some of these words that we had that used to mean nothing, but now are very. I remember like being like 7 years old and trying to talk to my dad about the terms upload and download.
Mm-hmm.
And those words mean nothing necessarily, but now they're ubiquitous. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah. And they describe perfectly what they do. In the cloud, yes, it's not a perfect. It's like an abstraction like that, where it's like, okay, yeah, it's a way. It's in the ephemeral,
yeah,
space
there
of
has always been
the network.
at least as far as the internet is concerned, hosted services.
Yeah.
The real difference came in, God, is this like 2010, I want to say, when maybe 2013, when cloud became the buzzword.
Yeah.
And there's like, put your services in the cloud. Well, how do we do that? Well, you know all that shit we already bought? We're going to pay someone twice as much to buy it for us.
True. Okay, so you get like the marketing upsell. Right. Yeah, okay.
Cloud was inherently a marketing term for web-hosted services. And there are services that made sense on the cloud in 2013, and there were also services that did not make sense on the cloud in 2013. But the thing is, once cloud took hold as a C-suite buzzword, right, everything has to move to the cloud. How are we implementing the cloud? It's like,
right.
We're a pizza shop with 6 employees. We don't need the fucking cloud. What are you on right now?
Right. What I'm doing, I'm kind of retconning history a little bit based on the successful marketing gimmick of the cloud. It's like, it's become so kind of ubiquitous now that we've come out on the other side where every pizza shop isn't asking that question anymore. Whereas we're still in that phase with AI, right? We were in that phase with the cloud. We were in that phase with whatever buzzword came before that even. That's really interesting. Yeah. Man, that shows you how successful it was that I'm just... What's this one?
What's that? It's the cloud. Huh, I always thought the cloud was this huge amorphous network of servers somewhere. Yeah, but everyone runs the server from everywhere else. In the end, they're all getting it here. How? You're on a cable modem. There's a lot of caching. Should the cord be stretched across the room like this? Of course, it has to reach the server on the and the other server over there. But what if someone trips on that? Who would do that? That sounds unpleasant. Sometimes people do stuff by accident. I don't think I know anyone like that.
XKCD, man.
That's right.
They don't miss. They got one for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and see, this is what Tripic is saying in chat. We just left the blockchain phase. That's like the exact thing. Like we had that with blockchain and NFTs and stuff that we had with the cloud. The cloud just survived the phase that the blockchain and NFTs couldn't survive. And so now I'm retconning history. Like, no, it's just the perfect abstraction. Yeah. Of course, it seems that way. Survival bias.
This is your This is your machine learning system? Yep, you just pour the data into this big pile of linear algebra, then collect the answers on the other side. What if the answers are wrong? Just stir the pile until things start looking right. Ladies and gentlemen, AI.
Yakto called it retconning with my name in it.
Nice. Nice.
Well done. Well done. Way, he added one T. and also that's very good.
But also
like
yes. Yeah. By the way, Rett, you up for fish and chips on Friday?
Oh,
we might be doing fish and chips on Friday.
I might have just made lunch plans on Friday, but if not, fish and I know. But if not, fish and chips on Friday. That sounds.
I mean, fish and chips good. and a mailbox. Like, come on.
I know.
Blow them off.
Yeah, I maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Bring them over. You know where we're going, so.
That's true. That's well. That was my first thought when you said that. I was like, well, maybe we can join forces.
Bring them there. Bring them there.
Do folks still do blockchain? Yeah,
no, this isn't 2022. The hell are you doing?
Seriously, we've moved on. It's just all of
we put the blockchain in AI now. It's all in the cloud. It's just
all the game dev. It's just the freaking domino chain of marketing buzzwords one after another. No, the blockchain is now.
The blockchain is now inside of AI, which is all hosted in the cloud, which we made sure we had a .com for. And somewhere in there's a real estate bubble.
So funny. It is funny. I remember being in elementary school and asking, like, well, why does everybody use .com? And they're like, marketing.
You don't want to know how much .com cost me.
Yeah, well, you had a very special case of getting screwed over.
Yes, I
did. What's funny is, like, now I actively try to get away from .com if I can. I'll buy the .com,
yeah,
but I'll also buy, like, for example, like I have rettisawesome.com.
Yeah.
But I primarily direct to rettisaso.me, rettisaso.me. I don't know why. I just love the gimmick of like not having a .com, because in the age of everyone having a .com, it kind of like feels like it sets me apart.
Totally.
So that's
the era of .com being the one sign of legitimacy is definitely gone. Like, you have no idea how many things I've bought from .biz domains before. All pre-orders for like keycaps and crap. Like, yeah.
I mean, hell, we got craftcomputing.store.
I was just gonna say, we have craftcomputing.store where all of your quality pint glasses are found.
I feel like that must have been one that I bought initially because I was on a tear. Oh,
no,
I did.
I have .store. You have not LTT.store.
Okay, that's right. That's I was gonna say. The story I was going to tell was the one of me buying that one.
Yeah.
So. But that's like my whole shtick is like, well, it's not a .com. I better buy it now.
That's right. Yeah, I have craftcomputing.com, .net, and .store. We also
for years I owned craft.computer.
Yeah, craft.computer, which is not the right word, so I never bought
No, but I just thought maybe it was, I don't know. After I held on to that for like 5 years and I finally gave it up.
Yeah. But in a moment of like we're stirring the shit, did you buy that during the pork bun commercial?
Yeah, probably.
I think probably, yeah.
I had a lot of them, and I even showcased a bunch of them. For a long time, even in the ad, I had one, Rett.rent, that steered to my Ko-Fi page.
That's right. Again, getting the shill in. Wait, is that a real website?
I don't own that.
I actually send Rett $5?
That's what I was hoping would happen, and it never did.
Never did.
And I don't own Rett.rent anymore. I did let that because the .rent domain was like $60 a year after the pork bun sale wore off. I think I bought it for like 2 years or something like that.
Yeah.
On some killer deal that pork bun was running, and then it ran up, and it was like $60. I was like, no thanks.
Yep.
So.
How many times has your identity been stolen, Craft Computing? Multiple times. It happens with any online personality, unfortunately. Luckily, I am a child of the digital age, and the analog age. I know how to write checks and type emails. Like
I can convert a PDF into a physical document, and I can convert a physical document into a PDF.
That's right.
I'm the child of both worlds
too. Right. There's a reason I don't widely publish my last name. It's out there if you really search for it, if you really want to find it. But before I even started Craft Computing, I obfuscated a lot of my online accounts and deleted any identifying information and even scrubbed some public records and things like that. Told my employer I didn't want to be on the website anymore and to delete all record of me from being on there and things like that. Like, I just didn't want to be tied back to anything if I ever became famous. And not that I'm famous now, but at least I have some notoriety. And yeah, because I have some notoriety, my identity's been stolen, or at least people have tried to impersonate me, sure. I also have good relationships with the banks that I use and have talked about them told them, for certain limits and certain transfers and things like that, change of address, and you better see me in person with multiple pieces of ID. I've contacted my cell phone carrier with the same thing. Like, you need to lock my account down. I have a lot of protections in place just to make sure it's all easy. I've contacted my local police departments and told state and local police, if I'm ever swatted, call my phone just to make sure. Like, if my address pops up, here I am, by the way. Like, I'm happy to meet all of you. I'm happy to shake hands and whatnot. And maybe once a year, I'll try to reestablish that and things like that.
I'll surrender peacefully if you don't break down my door.
Right. Please don't kick down my door just because someone, And so, yeah, I've taken preventative measures to make sure I don't get swatted. Because I've also got 3 kids, and I don't need that. So, yeah. That's the thing that sucks with being an online personality, even as non-notable as I am, is there's some real out there. Easy, your last name is Gearling, right? You got it.
I like Yaktos. I thought your last name was, as always, I'm Jeff.
Jeff's last name is Computing.
Jeff Computing. Oh my God, that should be true. Yeah.
So, yeah. No, it's... luckily, before I even ventured into this realm, like, I thought about all of that, and I took precautionary measures beforehand. There are some people who don't get so lucky. There are some people who, throw their full name out there and then have to deal with the repercussions 8 years later. And, Linus has talked about that. Linus has talked about, does he regret putting his full name out there? And he goes, a little bit. And in fact, he's looked at changing his legal name simply to get away from the I'm Linus Sebastian, so he can change his personal accounts so he can't be so easily hacked.
Yeah.
That's a thing. And it
I think
sucks.
that's the real bummer thing about when we were getting online and the stage of the internet it's just that, like, I don't think anybody ever expected to have as much attention as we get now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember, like, a real eye-opening moment for me, not that we were a big target or anything like this, but I remember the first time I showed up to do Talking Heads. You can go back and watch the episode. Before we rolled, Jeff said, I think I pulled out my keys to, like, for a can opener or something. He said, hey man, make sure you keep those keys off the camera, because anybody can just take a screenshot of that and they can copy your keys. And man, I worked physical security. I work in this whole field, and I never even thought about that before. Because I was thinking, well, man, I thought we were just doing a little talk show, like, and not that we weren't, but that's up there for all time now. Right. Anybody can go back and watch that first episode.
We have bottle openers on our keychains, and the very first episode we did in the tap house, and I think it might have been the first one, but I think the second or third when we were, like, opening beers ourselves. I went, make sure you don't show your keys. Yeah. And you're like, what the hell? Why wouldn't I show? I said, because people will screenshot them, and if they find out your name and your last name, they will find out where you live. They will copy your key. They will come to your house with a fake key. They will open your front door and rob you blind. And he goes, you're bullshitting. And Rett's someone who works physical security.
I don't know why that thought never crossed my mind.
And it's totally
but it changed the way that I really look at what I show on camera.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I telegraph from the void here. So
right.
I mean, granted, if you go widescreen, you get some other cool goodies in here.
Yeah. What's really funny is you don't want to hire someone for physical security or security in general who isn't just slightly gray hat. And myself, I always think of myself as just slightly gray hat. I never got in any legal trouble when I was a kid, but certain things went missing from time to time. Certain, like kid stuff, like Oh, did we lose it again?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Okay, you froze for a second.
Yeah, just for a second.
Um, but like, yeah, when I was in middle school and early high school, like a couple of things went missing, and I have no idea where they went, and things like that, and but that actually served me pretty well in my professional life because I went, someone's going to break in that window.
Right.
You want someone who thinks like that. If you're operating like that, you want someone who understands that side of things, and on the digital spectrum as well. Like, I have friends in the very white hat and also a couple in the fairly black hat community.
Right.
And it's nice to have friends on both sides and ask questions and go, oh yeah, no, that's totally an open vulnerability that probably no one would have thought of.
The thing is, right, is like most crimes are crimes of opportunity, and it's
Yeah,
like nobody has the opportunity to make a key in my house until I give it to them.
right.
You know? And so it's just really about closing those windows of opportunity, the ways that you can. And you got to be thinking about those windows of opportunity if you want to close them.
I I manage a haunted house. I've said this multiple times. Someone just linked you Deviant Olaf in the comments. Yeah, go watch Deviant Olaf. He's a freaking treat, man. I still owe him a beer. I'm gonna try to get to DEF CON this year. I'm gonna make sure I get him a beer. But anyway, I manage a haunted house, and it's a family-run haunted house. It's out in the middle of nowhere. I helped build part of the haunted house. I built a lot of the infrastructure. I did all of the networking, all of the Wi-Fi and things that we have. And as of the last decade or so, I've been the general manager out there, and so crowd flow, logistics, ticketing, like that, all that falls under my umbrella. Every night when the haunted house ends, we go around to all of the doors. There's emergency exits every 50 linear feet in the haunted house that we close and chain and lock. There's doors at the front, there's doors at the rear that have padlocks on them. And those are closed, they're locked, they're padlocked, they're secure. Cool. We have like a 2,500 square foot or 3,000 square foot facility that we have under lock and key. We lock every single door. Never mind that the floor is made out of pallets and the walls are a greenhouse, which I could enter with this. You said it's keeping honest people honest. We lock the doors because that's where 90% of people are going to go. They're going to go, yeah. Oh, that's locked, and they're going to walk away.
Yeah.
There's 10% of people who might go, the walls are freaking vinyl. And then there's 1% of people who will pull out a pocket knife and slash it open and walk in from the 2.5 foot high walls that are preventing them from entering the haunted house. But we still lock the damn doors because we're keeping honest people honest.
Rev has been doxxed in this very live stream before, he says.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack says, he calls me sweet summer child. Back in my day, you didn't put any information on the internet, not one. That changed extremely quickly for like no reason, and now it's just normal.
Yep.
And that's the thing, like, I mean, everything I try to put online anymore is like obscured behind like an LLC or whatever, lots of different things. I mean, it's not perfect. I don't know. I just try to do what I can. Mm-hmm. Because at this point it's too late. But like I said, it's like we kind of came up at that time where, yeah, I mean, I remember you don't put anything online that you don't want there forever. But then it's like I started playing Counter-Strike online, and it's like, I don't know, all these people I was playing with constantly, they seem pretty normal. And if they knew my first name, I don't know what they were going to do with that. You know, we were just playing Counter-Strike together.
Yeah. And
then from there, it kind of spirals out of control.
Yeah, no kidding.
And really, like, Facebook really like screwed that up. But, to Facebook's credit, like, I deleted my account. And then recently I was looking at creating one just to be able to use Marketplace, and they wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah.
So I don't, kudos on them. I was like, great. This is all the indication I needed that I didn't need Marketplace. The fact that they're actually doing something to keep random people from just creating a fake account and getting back online or whatever. I don't know. I'm sure I could have figured it out, but
right. If you at any point created a Facebook account, Facebook knows who you are, which means you can never create a fake account with your same information. Right. If there's enough information to tie you back to you, you will not be able to do it. What you need is a separate IP address from a separate region with a different name, with a different IP carrier, with a different everything else. You need to VP. I, for some of my online accounts, have an entity in Florida. Not even kidding. I have some anonymous accounts, which I would like to stay anonymous, that I registered in Florida. I only ever access them from Florida. I VPN to Florida specifically to do this. I found a vacant lot somewhere that I put as my address for websites that require an address. And that's something that I do. Perfect. Because sometimes I want to be just me on the internet. Sometimes I want to be that ghost. Sometimes I want to say an opinion without it being necessarily the defining opinion of Craft Computing LLC.
All right, everybody, let's see if we can find it.
Good luck. If you can pin a Reddit account to me other than Craft Computing, congratulations. I've got 4 of them.
God, this one talks a lot about home lab and blah, 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 blah. I don't know, man. He says a lot of stuff. Sounds just like Jeff.
You know what's really funny is my primary account. I went through any subreddit that could possibly be tangentially related to Craft Computing. I went through comment by comment from like an 8-year comment history and deleted anything in any subreddit that could possibly be traced back to Craft Computing before I even posted my first video.
Nice.
So I went through that kind of due diligence.
I was really sad because I think I mentioned it on a show recently that I thought I was locked out of my Reddit account.
Yeah.
Well, and I was. For like 3 years, I was locked out of my Reddit account until we were going to Taiwan. And I was like, you know what I should do? I should bring an empty phone to Taiwan. And so I found an old phone.
Yeah.
That for some reason had my Reddit account still logged in. And it wasn't my last phone, and it wasn't the phone before that. It was a very old phone. I don't know how it was still. So I got in and quickly disabled 2-factor authentication so that I could get back in and do all this sort of stuff and change it. So now I have it, and then I come through it and I was like, what will I delete? I can do all those things I dreamed of. I was like, oh, there's nothing really damning in here.
Right.
I mean, granted, like my Reddit account is tied to like my online footprint anyway, but I was like,
yeah.
It was at such a time where I was like, oh, apparently we can just go to jail and be deported to South Sudan for like literally anything. So I should go through and maybe clean this up a little bit.
Yeah. And of all the people I know who go through airports, you're the one who gets stopped 8 times out of 10.
I know. Right now, it's 10 out of 10, baby.
Yeah.
It's 10 out of 10. I can't remember the last time they let me through. You know what? They let me through to get to Taiwan. No. But anytime I'm coming back.
What was really funny is we got on the plane going out of Taiwan. We went to Taiwan City Airport, or Taipei City Airport. And for some reason, my ticket didn't have my TSA pre-check. On my return ticket. And so I got sent to a separate line, separate security thing, everything else. And I went through security, had to do the whole rigmarole, export customs, whole thing like that. Rett had like 5 people in front of him in the Taiwan airport. And he got pulled aside for additional screening and did the whole everything out kind of thing.
Bro, they took my passport, my phone, and my bag.
Yeah. Turn to the left and cough.
Seriously, yeah. Turn your head. Turn your head and cough. Bro, and it's funny because I thought like for sure I was gonna make it through. And Jeff was like, had to go through the regular line. He was so far behind me, and he literally makes it through security, and I'm just getting my stuff back.
Yeah, I already have my shoes back. I'm literally putting my backpack on and restrapping it to my chest because I have a center buckle.
Yeah.
And I see Rett coming out. He's holding his shoes and his hat and his jacket and he's like dragging the shit behind him going, how the hell did you get through already?
I had a really bad feeling when they asked to hold my passport. That really like skeeved me out. I was like,
Yeah.
what's happening here?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, whatever it is, I I don't know. I
Yeah.
was skeeved out. That really wigged me out. And then they had like literally they took my bag and then eventually they brought it back to me and they were like, okay, you need to open this up and if you reach for anything, there will be consequences. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I unzipped it and went through it. And freaking Andrew from Chips and Cheese had given me Vegemite. And it was a small bottle of Vegemite.
That's right. Yeah.
They took my freaking bottle of Vegemite.
Yeah.
Jar of Vegemite. And I remember they took it and I was like, can you explain to me why it is I can't take this through? I just made it through another airport with this. Sir, there are no liquids, gels, or aerosols allowed on planes. And I was like, do you mind? Can you tell me which one this is?
Yeah.
Sir, if Nutella isn't allowed on a plane, why would this be allowed on a plane? I was like, because it's not
Is
Nutella.
Nutella not allowed on a plane? They serve
I guess
Nutella
not.
on the flight over.
That was like my first thought, but literally I was just like, that's not Nutella. But sir, it's a food spread like Nutella. And in my mind, I'm like, I have a bottle of ink from the Lammy store that is the same size. By the way, they said, well, you're not allowed to have 100 grams of this, blah, 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 blah. It was 105 grams. Bro, just let me open it and spread some out. Yeah. I'll take it out.
Can I? Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Done. I was so pissed. So freaking...
Make sure to pour it into the bucket of all of the other contraband liquids that are right next to you.
Seriously. Seriously. That Vegemite made it around the world. It came from Australia, I think.
Yeah.
It made it to Taiwan. It made it to the shores of the United States of America before they decided that it couldn't be on board a plane.
Yep.
And all because of whatever. Sir, you've been... You know what? It's so funny. I was going through...
You've been randomly selected.
I thought to myself, I made it. I made it.
Yep.
And I walked through... You know what? I feel like I went really wrong with this. Is I walked through staring at the guy on the other side of the metal detector because I was like, I did it. And I was smiling.
Yeah.
And like, here I was with a non-white TSA guy. And I thought, bro, we did it.
Yeah. You're on my side, bro.
And he goes, you've been randomly selected. I'm like, motherfucker, how many times can you say randomly selected? That doesn't exist.
By the way, the line that I was in, the 2 Chinese nationals in front of me got randomly selected. The 2 5'0" Chinese women, one after the other. Yeah. Not the white woman in front of them or the 6'5" white man behind them. The 2 5'0" Chinese women got selected for random screening.
Jay says smiling was your mistake. And I think it was, man. They knew that they were like, this motherfucker he thinks he made it. He didn't make it.
He didn't make it.
Pull his ass out.
That's right. I look in a constant state of irritation when I'm going through TSA. And I think that's kind of my secret.
Bro, that's typically my secret, but I must have just broken after hours of
yeah.
Just like I couldn't do it. I was like, I made it. Here we go.
I absolutely have resting bitch face.
That's
100%.
Same here. Same here. Same here. I don't know, man.
Trippic says he has a habit of setting off bomb and drug detectors. I did get pulled aside one time where they swabbed my entire bag.
The things that we tolerate just to get on board a plane.
Mm-hmm. And I think I have 2 cross-country, 2 domestic, and 1 international coming up in the next 2 months. So, yay!
Fun.
Yay.
Cheese is in chat. I summoned him by mentioning Lammy.
That's right.
Bro, how's your pen doing?
How's your pen, buddy?
Still fantasize about that.
He ran out of all of his ink cartridges. He's now on the refills. Oh yeah.
Bro, that's impressive because I write with mine every single day and I've barely gone through 2 ink cartridges. So you must be blowing me out of the
Oh
water.
no.
I don't I don't use any other pen other than the All-Star that I got
He's on
overseas
another
right now.
level. Yeah.
That's
Like even
incredible.
mine is right here, and I use mine probably 2-3 times a week at least. Um, and yeah,
I yeah, man. Cheese's pen confirmed somewhere deep down in my heart of hearts that I'm going for the gold nib someday. So
yeah,
there we go. He's on the third converter refill. Dude,
yeah,
that's so much ink. And here I thought I had a problem.
yeah.
Someday. Someday. I'm gonna go for the gold nib too someday, but we're gonna build it's gonna be like a nice little treat for me someday. But
Nice.
after using one, I can't not, you know?
Yeah, it was using that gold nib pen. It was a visceral reaction.
Yeah. Trippic never was a fan of Lammy. See, I think I like Lammy just because it's like, I've got the German name.
Mm-hmm.
Lammy's German. I don't know. Maybe it's a German thing. We'll see. I got a Coeco Sport I also like, but the Coeco Sports are a little they're like that same kind of level quality. So I'm not like a huge
He's not 100% on the
quality.
Lammy ecosystem. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And of course I got my Muji.
that's
Never
right.
break away from the Muji. Stainless steel nib, baby. It writes with all the grit of a number 2 pencil, but damn does it write. You ain't bending that nib, I tell you that
Nope.
much. Drop that on the sidewalk straight down and it'll still keep writing. Oh, damn. Well,
Yeah.
I'm feeling some of the fire of that AI talk, so kind of simmering a little bit. Might be able to sleep tonight.
Well, I'm feeling the fire of a 13 percenter. That's there right now.
Eric says he's on the Zebra budget crew. I do. My preferred ballpoint is the Zebra F301. So, and I also got one of the bigger Zebras. If it was within reach, I'd grab it and tell you exactly what it is. I got a bigger Zebra too. That's nice. Real thick
I
aluminum body, but
I am a real big fan of the uni gels.
yeah, man, the Unigels are pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. I used
That's
to be like a real elitist about ballpoint pens, but since switching to fountain pens, I've opened up a little bit on them.
I like the gels.
Yeah.
That has been my pen of choice for a long time. They're $5-6. They're not terrible. But I really like the way they write. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Pen nerds, unite.
Who knew we were all elitist about everything else that in our lives too?
True.
Home labbers having strong opinions about drones, cars, and pens. What?
Don't even get me started on pencils. I even got preference on pencils.
Right?
I got my D&D squad rolling over, and whenever I pull out the Ticonderogas, they're like, yo, what?
Yeah.
Bro, you treating us tonight? I'm like, you can take those home.
That's right.
I got money.
First one's free.
No, it doesn't leak into my pocket protector, Novella, because I got a pen case. All right?
That's right.
I keep my pens in the case.
That's right.
Pull it out of my bag. My courier bag, dog.
That's right. Yeah, what's your pitch size? Are you a .07 for a pencil? What do you go with?
I do prefer the .05, but
I usually prefer a fine. I'm a .05 as well.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, like, I mean, that's when I got my mechanical pencil, it makes sense. If I'm going with a graphite pencil, I'm okay with the number 2, but I do like a harder. I guess the number 2 isn't necessarily. Does that indicate hardness? Because I do prefer like a harder graphite. So I don't know if that's like a number 2 or if there's like a other kind of coating for that. I prefer the harder graphite, but you don't get quite the markup with it. I just like the way it moves.
Yeah.
Softer graphite, you do get a little bit bolder of a stroke.
It grabs a little bit.
Yeah. HB. Yeah, okay. So people even know the pencils in here.
Yeah. My people.
Yeah, man. See, everybody's got their vibe.
Yep.
Nothing better than a good stationery and office supply store, Oof. Gives me chills.
We were in Taiwan, and every time we walked through 101, one of the stores we walked through was the Muji store. And every single time we approached it, Rett would go, Muji?
They make my favorite stationery and office supplies, man.
Yep. But he was like,
and they got other stuff.
But the first time he was like, "There's a Muji store here. We got to go through the Muji store." And so every other time we walked through, which was 4 times a day for the next 6 days, we would come up to it and go, "Muji."
They got a Muji store in Beaverton, so if you ever got to go check that out,
there you
go visit it.
Well, I can't walk there though. That's the thing.
Yeah, true. It's not the same.
There was something about walking 200 yards and being at the Muji store.
Tell me about it, man.
Next gen Xbox may feature a 10-core AMD Zen 6 chip. Leaked die shots suggest 10 Zen 6 cores, 20 threads, and 384-bit memory bus. So likely still going LPDDR5, maybe LPDDR6, maybe GDDR6, maybe GDDR7. I'm not sure. But the interesting thing is these are all true full-fat Zen 6 cores from what they're seeing. Or no, sorry, 3 Zen 6 cores and then 7 Zen 6 C cores. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Sorry, I didn't read the article necessarily 100% before we started this, so I will fully admit
Come on, Jeff. You know better.
I know. I was going to go, I'm shocked there's no Zen 6C, because you don't necessarily need all of your frequency for running games at 1440 and 4K. Like, sometimes you just need to run background processes. Sometimes you just need to run little things. Sometimes you can optimize your extraneous code to a couple of performance cores, and it seems like that's what they've done. Although that's right, because it's still AMD still has hyperthreading on all of their core types, whereas Intel does not. So even the Zen 6C cores are still hyperthreaded. So yeah, 384-bit memory bus. And should supposedly use Radeon RX 90 series graphics. Which that's actually slightly newer than I was expecting. I was honestly expecting like 6,000 series graphics, maybe 7,000 series at the latest, because typically consoles are a couple gens behind. Because what they do is they optimize for power, efficiency, everything else on previous generations. Maybe they die shrink some previous generations. Look at the Nintendo Switch moving to Ampere, which is 3000 series NVIDIA. on the Nintendo Switch 2. That's usually the MO of a lot of consoles, is to newer processes, but older, well understood designs. And the fact that they're going like bleeding edge, Zen 6 and 9000 series, that's kind of impressive. That's outside of the norm for console development.
Be interesting to see what they do with it.
Yeah. Upwards of 80 compute units of RDNA 3.5. RDNA 4, excuse me. 90 series. So roughly double what you see in a Strix Halo. And also with an architectural improvement from RDNA 3.5 to RDNA 4. Honestly, just based on that, pretty impressive little chip. Cheese says Xbox and PlayStation have been using the latest AMD GPU IP for a long while. Yes. Yeah, I know when the PS5 came out, they were using 6000 series, but even still, I was still expecting maybe a 7000 series architecture. Because the 6000 series, basically the 6700 XT or 6600 XT, which is used in the PS5 Pro, that was the exception, not necessarily the rule of console development. And especially with Nintendo going to NVIDIA and going, give us Ampere from 2020. I was still expecting maybe previous gen, not necessarily current gen. So, but at the same time, consoles are, if nothing more these days, than just another PC. Running the exact same x86 hardware and same acceleration processes as every other gaming PC that's on the market. Just a little bit optimized and a little bit of software trickery to change some certain things.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
And that's just from like a leaked image, right? Or
yeah, a leaked image of the proposed APU die that's going to be used on the new Xbox.
Gotcha.
And so you can actually see some of the architecture inside the die right there, if that is, of course, what it looks like. But yeah, AMD Magnus, likely component of the PlayStation 6 and maybe the Xbox 2? I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay.
Xbox 720? Like, let's just double that up, because that's fun. Jack wants to know, hey, Cheese, did Intel ever start doing AVX 512 again after the rebranding lineup? I'll let Cheese answer that in chat, because I'm not going to get into that here. One last thing to talk about, and that's Analogue, the FPGA company.
Oh, yeah.
They've delayed this a couple of times, but apparently the Analogue 64, a la the FPGA-based Nintendo 64 replacement, is ready to ship and will start shipping in August.
Cool.
It's been delayed a couple of times, especially over the last couple of months. It was originally supposed to ship, I believe, in May, and then it was pushed back to July, and then July turned to August, but now it sounds like August is going to be the actual ship date of the console. For those not in the know, this is a silicon reimagining of the Nintendo 64 with some modern enhancements. You get HDMI, you get 4K output, you get some modern upscaling, but the FPGA that actually runs the interface for the cartridge slot, which is on board and does function as a cartridge slot and can read all your old N64 games, is essentially bit accurate to the original Nintendo 64. All the enhancements happen
Hmm.
afterwards, and can be enabled or disabled at your leisure. Um,
Am I going to need an expansion pack to play Majora's Mask
no,
or?
the expansion pack is built in. Great question.
Okay. Thank
This does
you.
have 8 megabytes of memory on board, and so it is fully ready for the expansion pack for Perfect Dark, Banjo Kazooie, Majora's Mask. You can play
Donkey
multiplayer.
Kong.
Donkey Kong, Episode 1 Racer is right there. The expansion pack for Episode 1 Racer was not necessarily for visual enhancements, it was to enable multiplayer, because you could only play single player without the expansion cart.
Oh, hell yeah. There you go.
Um, and they've got Perfect Dark right there as well. So yeah, um, yes, or no, you will not need an expansion cart. Comes in multiple colors, compatible with all Nintendo 64 first and third party controllers and accessories and support and things like that. So things like the Hey You Pikachu microphone probably work out of the box, although we probably need to test that. There's also a couple other expansion cart possibilities that probably need to be tested to make sure they interface properly. But yeah, apparently this thing's ready to
Cool.
roll, and I'm actually legitimately kind of excited for this.
How much?
$249.
Oh, okay.
Not terrible.
That's on par. Did you see did you guys talk about this at all? They're releasing well, not releasing. They're doing that Commodore 64 remake. Did you see that everywhere?
I've been aware of the story. I don't think we talked about it.
And
So
it's priced the same, 249.
Commodore has been purchased by a YouTuber. Um,
Oh.
and they are reintroducing some Commodore products. He actually did go through and purchase the company. So a YouTuber, I forget his name, forgive me, purchased
Okay.
the Commodore company and has rights to all its assets and branding
Yeah.
and internal documents and designs and everything else. And they're going to be releasing new Commodore hardware.
Yeah. It looks really cool. And so I saw a news article or something that briefly said like, yeah, you can natively run Commodore 64 games and software and stuff without
Yeah.
any gimmicks or hiccups or anything. So it's cool that people are doing things to keep this old media alive, because in a weird way it's like that's what it's most useful for is utilizing this old media. And
Yeah.
um yeah, I don't know. So
I love that emulation is fully embracing the FPGA route. Um, Not that FPGA is perfect, but it's closer to perfect, especially with the introspection into silicon that we have nowadays, where we can actually dissect the actual gates within a silicon transistor and determine the logic and literally just input the code as it was written for the original silicon, and it plays perfectly on an FPGA as long as you've done your analysis properly. It's pretty
right,
great. Um,
right.
and so, on top of playing Nintendo 64 games, this may also perfectly be able to play multi generations of games. Like, not necessarily cartridge based, but if you put the ROM of, say, an NES copy of Zelda, there's no reason in the world you couldn't import the FPGA engine for the NES and run the
Right.
original
Yeah.
Zelda and play it on your TV with FPGA emulation.
Right.
Um, and so I've been a huge fan of like the Mister Project and things like that. I'm really excited to see what's actually possible with the Analog 64. Does it have a more powerful FPGA? How's the ARM coprocessor in it? How does everything work? Is this going to be viable beyond just playing N64 games, or is there more expansion potential in there? Because I've held off on getting an FPGA system to this point, but that doesn't mean I haven't been tempted.
Right. Sweet. Cool things on the horizon.
Yeah. All right. I don't think there's anything else.
You guys can go rewind, listen to me about screaming about AI, screeching about AI.
Yeah.
It's all there for you to unpack.
I tried to hold him back, but there was literally nothing that I could do. His comments do not reflect the views of Craft Computing.
They stand on their own,
That's
baby.
right. Yeah. I'm not saying flat out AI is bad. What I'm saying
No,
is
there's a lot more nuance than that.
There's a lot more nuance, which I tend to bring to a lot of equations. There's a lot more nuance to the conversation. There's a lot more exploration that needs to be done. There's a lot more use cases that need to be explored. And there's a lot of things that it patently cannot do today that no one should make investments for. You shouldn't be firing people to build up AI. You should be building up AI to enhance your productivity that you have, because AI by itself doesn't work. I will take no questions. But you can leave your comments in the video down below. I was going to say video description, but that's not where they go. They go in the comment section.
In the comments.
The video description.
And if it's something shitty you want to type, you can just write it down on a piece of paper and just eat it. We don't need to know it.
Make sure it's done with at least a Lamy pen or better, though. We will not accept written comments with any other medium.
True.
Yep.
Well put.
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah.
Rett, anything else to plug? You want to plug your D&D podcast again?
My D&D podcast, we're called The Inn at the End. You can go to theinnattheend.com. You can find us probably still at dndpodcast.org, or also maybe potentially in the future, if you're watching this, daggerheartpodcast.com, because we have switched from D&D to Daggerheart, produced by the Critical Role guys. And also, I don't know, check out my music. We're at themarionberries.com or on Spotify or wherever you get your music. We're called The Marionberries. And we're doing that stuff.
Daggerheart podcast is not live yet, but In at the End is absolutely live still. So you can keep up on all of Rhett's escapades here at In at the End. END.
Yeah. Boom. And the daggerfallpodcast.com, that'll just be a redirect to this website that Jeff's showing you right now.
Perfect.
So, so the original website will never go anywhere. It won't change. But that'll point you there. So,
awesome.
We're just trying to grab that branding since everything's so fresh.
That's right.
Ooh, Novella asked if Game Dev's Quest is still going strong. It is not. We've gone on permanent hiatus. The Discord has been open and available to anybody who wants to come and interact with people making games, but otherwise we're not doing the podcast anymore. Who knows if that'll ever change in the future. We haven't given up hope. You can, learn more about that at gamedevsquest.com, but it's been on hiatus for a while, so.
Yeah. Funny story, I was the very first live guest on Game Dev's Quest podcast.
That's
before
true.
I was Craft Computing. That was a lot of fun. That was my first dive into any kind of podcasting. And long story short, the reason I started doing Craft Computing was I had two very, very long-term friends, two people that were very near and dear to my heart. They both got jobs out of state basically simultaneously, and within 3 weeks of each other moved 1,000 miles away. And so the two people that I spent my days when I wasn't home, Thursday mornings, I would go and play basketball with them, and we went to church together, and we did worship band together, and we did a bunch of other things. And those two guys were like the majority of my social circle, and simultaneously they both went, I got a job here and I got a job here, and they went, and they're gone, and I'm left here going, what do I do with my time now? And both of them independently told me, Jeff, you need to start a YouTube channel because you talk about tech all the time and you won't shut up about it. We love listening to you, but there's probably a bunch of other people who would love to listen to you too. And so that happened in like December of like 2016. And so by March, during that winter time, I had also started doing a VR experience in John's bar. John owned a bar in downtown Salem called Capital Tap Room. And I said, hey, can I lease your upstairs and introduce people to VR? And, you know, if I take $20 and they drink a couple of beers, everyone wins, right? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. And so I did that. And I wasn't sure what I was doing it for at first. But then that break happened. And it's like, I don't have any friends, anyone to talk to anymore, anything that's happening on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Sundays anymore. And it's like, well, I got to find something to fill my time with. And they both said, you should do a YouTube channel. And I went, screw it. I'm going to use the money that I'm making here to start a YouTube channel. And so that became the goal. And I think maybe February, Rett, you and I got to know each other, like February of 2017. And we started talking.
Yeah.
And then I was a guest on Game Dev's Quest, talking about VR, talking about like this new startup thing. Like, it's a retail thing. You can go and buy it and you can go experience it. And so both Rett and Taylor, had their first experience in VR in my studio. And then we walked through their experience and all the different things that you could do with it on their podcast. And we walked away from that, and Rett goes, yeah, you should totally start a YouTube channel. That'd be great. And Rett and I have been friends ever since.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's funny because like, you know, we had known each other a little bit, done some VR, and I had told Taylor, I was like, yeah, I don't know how much we'll have to like walk him through this. We might have to hold his hand a little bit. And then you just like took the ball and ran with it. We didn't have to do any work to guide you, coax you along in a conversation. And it was great. It was a 2-parter.
Yeah.
And so
it's a 2-hour interview, as you can probably tell became kind of the norm with me.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
But no,
and then it's just a few months later that we did Talking Heads for the first
March,
time.
I registered Craft Computing with YouTube and started, like I said, doing all the things that I did to start the channel. And then in July of that year, posted my first video. And,
perfect. Yeah.
And now you're on my podcast.
Yeah. Wouldn't have it any other way.
That's right.
It's no work for me. I get to just show up, talk shit about AI, drink beer.
That's right.
It's glorious.
Rett does live under Jeff's stairs. Actually, my sister lives under my stairs. That's the funny thing.
I'm the next best thing, though.
Yeah, that's true. I would have you live with me if I could.
Sorry, I'm the best.
Anyway.
Don't let her forget it either.
That's right. This has been episode 392 of Talking Heads. Join us every 392, by the way.
Boom.
Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news right here on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Follow Rett is Awesome on Bluesky, Craft Computing on Bluesky. You can also follow In at the End, inattheend.com, and keep track of what Rett is doing over on his D&D podcast. Other than that, I think I have a new video coming out either tomorrow or Friday. One of the longest projects I've ever done, like full on dive in, start writing, dive in more, start writing more, troubleshoot, start writing more. Like, haven't published a video in 7 days because I've been working on this one project for 7 days. I've been doing a Proxmox Ceph cluster and making sure I get all the information 100% correct. And so there's going to be a full Proxmox Ceph cluster video coming on the channel here very shortly. So I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
Please watch it. It was a hell of a lot of work. Please.
And tell your friends to watch it.
And tell your friends to watch it. And hopefully we'll have an announcement soon for episode 400. Hoping to do something special, hoping to get something actually really special. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyway, this has been episode 392. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, we'll see you next week. Cheers, everyone.